Good morning, Granddaddy P here. Today, we're going to talk about an actor and singer named Seunggi. He's a good actor. I saw him in Vagabond. I have never heard him sing, but evidently he's pretty good at that too. Now, Seunggi was signed by an agency called Hook Entertainment. And it appears that there were some shenanigans going on within that agency. But that agency had some superstars signed to it who now have left, I think. But they had some really big people, plus Lee Seung-gi. Well, he went after them because he didn't believe he got all his money from his singing part of his career. Evidently, he got paid for his acting, but it looks like possibly, I guess it's the case, Hook kept a lot of his music money. Well, Lee Seung-gi took them to court. And as he was taking them to court, Hook said, yeah, maybe we should try to fix this. And I believe they gave him $5.7 million. They gave him won, but equivalent to $5.7 million. They wanted him to go away, but of course he didn't. He pursued, and he pursued, and he pursued. And people love him for it. Evidently, there's a Lee Seung-gi law now in effect that makes agencies be more transparent. And that's not a bad thing. But he continued, Lee Seung-gi continued to go after Hook Entertainment and the CEO. Well, that's fine to a point. But you're already a multimillionaire. At the time he started the suit against Hook, he was already worth $15 million. So, Hook gives him $5.7 million more. Well, now he's worth over $20 million. He says he gave all of the $5.7 million away to charity. All of it. Every cent. Never didn't keep a dime. I need receipts. That's a lot of money to give away. That's just a whole lot of money to give away. I guess he could have, but nobody's ever showed me receipts. They're just taking his word for it. Okay? But we'll leave that. It's neither here nor there. So he's, even if he gave it all away, he's still worth $15 million. But he continues to go after Hook Entertainment. This didn't affect Hook Entertainment positively. It affected them rather negatively. And my concern has always been, Mr. Lee, multi-millionaire Mr. Lee, what happens if you bankrupt this company? Because you were not letting up. You never did let up. You still haven't let up. What happens? Little people like me, the office workers, the 9-to-5ers, those making about $30,000 a year at the most, those people, what happens to them? Well, what do you think happens to them? They lose their jobs. I venture to say that probably some did, because that company was affected so negatively. I have to assume that people lost their jobs. We're talking millions upon millions of dollars paid up front right now, plus court costs, plus continuing lawsuits against the company. all to prove a point, all for his ego. And that certainly is what it was for. He just got another settlement of $403,000. He took that down the road for 2 years for 400 grand. Multimillionaire. That's less than Kim Se-ran owed gold medalist. Speaking of gold medalists, I just read that they have 33 employees. So I'm going to assume that Hook Entertainment, with its big stars, and not a new company, had more, at least 33, maybe more. And I asked the question again, while Lee Seunggi is getting the books opened and getting laws passed with his name on them and continuing to go after the same company, how many of those 33 or plus 9-to-5ers were affected negatively? Now, he says he gave all this money away to charities to feed underprivileged children. That's a lot of meals. And that's a wonderful thing. But what do you tell the 9-to-5er who's now unemployed and can't feed his or her family? You see. Then Lee Seunggi went on and married an actress whose father actually went to jail for embezzlement. And is probably going back again, because they're back in court again. Yeah. So you have Lee Seunggi marrying into a criminal family. A criminal family that was criminal in money. Again. So he is going after Hook. His new wife's family is a criminal family. They are a criminal family. All of them, to include the wife, sisters, mother, there are brothers, them too. All of them in this family made out, received the benefits of the father's illegal dealings, embezzlement dealings. All of them profited from this. Houses were bought for them, etc. This is the family that Lee Seunggi married into. Yeah. So not only did he go after Hook and try to destroy it, and I'm convinced that's what he was doing. He'd already been given $5.7 million, and he continued for several years down the road. By this point, it's not about $400,000. It's about destroying a company. And that, in my opinion, is what that man wanted to do. Did it work? Sort of. The company was sold to another company. Name was changed. Now, you and I know exactly what happens when companies are bought up by other companies. What do you think happens? I've been involved in that. I was part of a private security company, a local one that bought a company and then bought a company and then bought a company and then bought a company, and they are now the largest private security company in the world. Used to be Securitas. It is no longer. The company I worked for did that. And of course, every time they swallowed up a company, what happened? Do you know what happened? I know what happened. The people in that company, many of them, not all, some were absorbed, but many of them lost their jobs. That's what happens when companies buy other companies. Lee Seunggi made that happen. So he didn't get to destroy Hook Entertainment, but he certainly got it to the point where it needed to sell itself to somebody else. And there's no way, I say this again, there is absolutely no way all those employees walked away with everything being honky-dory. It did not happen. Some were absorbed, some left on their own, probably. Others were axed. What do you think happens in Seoul, Korea? If you're the breadwinner And you let go. What happens? What happens? Yeah. So Lee Seunggi, for his ego, because he certainly didn't need the money, he says he gave it away anyway, for his ego, cost people their livelihoods. I'm convinced of it. So go on and be an actor, be a singer. People who love you are going to say, oh, you did a wonderful thing. You got this wonderful law passed. It's not perfect, but it makes agencies be a little more transparent. What a wonderful thing. And oh, you gave money to charity. Ask the people who lost their jobs how they feel about it. They went to work one day and everything's fine. Next day, one of their clients is suing the crap out of the company, and the next thing you know, they're out of a job. So yeah. Now, I can't absolve Hook Entertainment. I'm talking about Lee Seunggi because he's the one who kept this thing going. But Hook was wrong. But Hook gave him millions. It wasn't enough. Got rid of the CEO. She was wrong. She was a thief. And she used Hook to help her be a thief. They got rid of her. They got rid of some other directors in the company. The company was bought. So they went away, and everybody's happy about that. But nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's saying anything about the little people. And you'll never convince me that little people did not lose their jobs. And that is because of Lee Seunggi. So while you praise him to the hill, don't forget, he probably, I would say I'm 100% sure that he cost people their livelihoods. He did that. Granddaddy P, signing out.